Hello and welcome to the channel. Today's video is dedicated to the buyers who will possibly be dealing with competing offer situations in this crazy market that we're in real estate right now. So today I'm going to be sharing some tips with you, some advice on how to increase your chances on winning in a competing offer situation. But before we get into the video, my name is Eleah Sims and I'm part of the Gateway Realty team here in Melfort, Saskatchewan. If you are interested in learning more about real estate, either buying or selling real estate, then make sure you subscribe to this channel. All right, so let's get into it. If you have been paying attention to real estate lately, then I'm sure you know that we are in more of a seller's market. Also, we do have a huge shortage of listings right now in most areas that I know of. So this is creating a lot of bidding wars and competing offer situations when there's a new listing that comes on the market. So I am going to be sharing some tips with you guys on how to increase your chances of winning in this type of situation. All right, so the first tip that I have for you today is to get pre-approved for a mortgage. So make sure you get all of your documents into your lender and get that pre-approval done before you even start house shopping. So why is this so important? So when you go and look at a house and you're competing with other buyers and you write an offer, you want to be able to put the shortest time frame on that financing condition as possible. So if your lender already has done the pre-approval, well then it's like they have a head start, and getting your full approval will be just a much shorter and quicker process. So that's why you want to get that pre-approval done. Ideally, it would even be best to not have a financing condition at all, but we only recommend doing that if you are 100% sure that the financing is going to be taken care of. So the second way to beat your competitor is to increase or have a larger deposit. So the amount I think that I would recommend, or where we are from, people put very small deposits on an offer. And so anything over $5,000 would probably be better than what the competition is doing. So how the deposit works is it actually just goes towards your down payment. So it's not an extra sum of money that you have to come up with. It is going towards the down payment. So what it is security for the seller. So what it does essentially is it makes you look like a more serious buyer when you put a larger deposit on that offer. So tip number 3 is kind of an obvious one, but I'm still going to mention it because it's probably the most important. But you need to put a higher price on your offer. So I am going to just pretend that in every case that you're working with a realtor. So when you work with a realtor, they're gonna know the house, the market value. They're gonna know hopefully how many showings there have been, and if it's a new listing, like say that day or just a few days prior, they're gonna sort of know, okay, you're not gonna maybe have a lot of negotiating power, so you're most likely gonna have to come in at the asking price or even just slightly higher just to beat out any buyers who do offer that asking price. But again, talking to your realtor and just with the specifics of the house, it always obviously depends. So you don't want to be overpaying or just paying a ridiculous amount just because it's a seller's market. But in this type of market, unfortunately, there's not a lot of negotiating power. So it is harder for a buyer to offer much less, especially if it is a competing offer situation. So my last tip for winning in a competing offer situation is to add very few or no conditions onto your offer. So I want to be careful just going over this point because there are risks that can come from having no conditions on the offer. So for example, if you don't have a financing condition on the offer, there's a chance that maybe you don't get that final approval. And in that case, then you risk losing your deposit. If you didn't have that condition and the sale went through and then you had to back out on the sale, then you would lose your deposit. Another risk with not putting, say, a home inspection condition on the offer is that then after you move into the house, maybe you run into an issue or a problem, and because you opted out of inspections, that's going to be your responsibility to pay for that problem, whatever it may be. So in a situation of competing offers, it obviously makes your offer look better to not have any conditions, but there are risks. And so we don't always recommend that. If you're not 100% sure you're gonna get financing, then you need to add that as a condition. And if there are red flags with the property that you think you wanna get a professional in there to take a look around and inspect, then again, I think that is probably going to be really important. So you want to use wisdom. You don't want to just, make a crazy decision just so that you can get the house. I know with my first house that I was buying, I ended up in a competing offer situation and I lost. So I didn't actually get the house. And I was very disappointed, extremely disappointed. But in the end, the house that I did get actually ended up fitting my needs and wants a lot better. So in the end, it did work out. In the moment, you feel deflated and, just very disappointed that you didn't win. But sometimes I think these things happen for a reason. So we don't always win in competing offer situations, but this video is just to simply give you some advice, give you some tips on how to better your offer in a situation like that. So if you are a buyer in this market and you're thinking of buying a house this spring, then you should also check out my video, Top Challenges That Buyers Are Going to Be Facing this spring. So that'll give you some insight as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next week.